In seeking life, I created death.
This film is the realization of a lifelong dream for you, Guillermo. Can you tell me what was going through your head? What were you feeling that day?
It's very funny you mentioned that scene because we were very connected. I was joking that it's the first time I have method directed. But in that scene, that's where the strongest connection happened and something changed in the way I perceived life and everything. It was almost like reaching a horizon, like Victor says, having reached the ends of the earth. There was no horizon left. There was a postpartum joy and depression at the same time that settled for the rest of the movie. It was incredible to see it happening.
Yeah, it felt like something broke open, you know, we got a little tweaky, you know, it was like just something, I don't know, it was a cult or what. There was so much joy in it, you know, so physical. I mean, ultimately, this role for me was an incredibly physical role, and those, you know, we were 3 weeks or more where we were just like with constant rain. In the lab, running up and down these metal stairs with these little high-heeled boots. Just blood everywhere, pieces everywhere, and it was incredibly elemental, and Guillermo would be sitting just right behind one of these huge batteries the whole time, you know, with his laptop and the monitors, and
I was charging my laptop.
But there was so much joy, and it was just hard to comprehend the magnitude of it.
Inevitable. Until it became truth.
Can you tell me about your first impression? Sure. Could you see Jacob in there?
First and foremost, I remember feeling really moved and emotional for Guillermo, because I know that this is a project that's been with him since he was 10 years old, and to finally have the creature there, it was a very special thing. And you know, I was really taken by Jacob's performance and how much humanity he brought to the character, and you know, ultimately it made my job very easy of being his defender, his protector, because you know, even though he was under those, you know, hours and hours of prosthetics, it was still very easy to connect with him and do those scenes with one another, and those actually turned out to be some of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Owls of the laboratory. What is Elizabeth feeling for him?
I think she's totally overwhelmed in that moment. You know, she's kind of been looking for him her whole life, and she never really knew it. She wants to defend him, she wants to protect him, she's curious, she's playful. I mean, she's not thinking. She's not thinking in that moment. She's just just totally present and there with him in that moment. I think she's a creature in her own way, and going through the story and trying to find her place and just feeling very unsettled in each of these environments, and then she kind of finds her home in a way with him.
I had seen some of the designs. I think we met briefly before.
Mostly apart.
But it was mostly apart. So the first time that he came on set was actually the last scene that we shot, the last scene in the film. So that's the first scene that we had together. So he came on set, and he was in his whole getup, and I was just so struck by how heartbreaking it was as well. And what was funny is that in between takes, he'd have like a 35 millimeter camera, and I just would look over, and this big hulking monster going like.
With the furs.
Yeah, with the furs and everything. It was so funny. I know.
I want to see them.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I think he's using them for blackmail now.
That's true.
Now, run.
No, I think that when somebody invents one of the primal 10 songs of humanity, which Mary did, you know, Mary Shelley created an archetype. You know, I think that you can sing it again and again. And as long as you bring your own voice and your own pain and your own story to it, it'll be new.
An idea took shape.
No, nothing. I mean, Kate Hawley is an extraordinary costume designer, and I've really never worn costumes like that in a movie, and I probably never will again. The attention to detail and the design with the fabrics and how that helped push the story along, I mean, it really opened my eyes as to what a tool costumes can be in storytelling. Very much so, yeah. And similar to the bandages that the creature has on his body, and just highlighting that connection once again. Well, you know, I remember Kate actually came to my house, and we had our initial discussion in my home, and I actually had this idea that we would go the complete other way, you know, and it would be very simple, and perhaps Elizabeth would just have one dress, and you know, she's coming from a convent, and in my head I thought that would be the direction that we went in, but we ended up going in the totally other direction. But I was very glad that we did, and definitely helped me in understanding and having empathy for Elizabeth. And like, the costumes were beautiful, but there was also something quite isolating about them. You know, you can't really move in these huge carriages. You know, you need help kind of just getting from A to B. So in that way, it was very helpful. It isolated.
Well, I knew that I was going to do my own version, so you can never build from negation, from negativity. I'm not going to do that. You actually say, I'm going to do this, which nobody has done. You know, I'm going to give it the father and son lineage of pain story, which is very personal. I'm going to try to make it very intimate and very epic at the same time. I'm going to make it an opera. I'm going to make it handmade. You're going to have fabulous set pieces, sets, wardrobe, costuming, color. It's going to feel like the modern Prometheus in many ways, and ultimately a fairy tale too. The passage of the story of the creature is like a fairy tale. He becomes almost a Snow White, you know, going into an enchanted cottage, guided by the animals. So all these things is what you are propositive about.
I remember pieces, memories of different men.
Yeah, I don't believe that I'm not. My character isn't an other. She's not apart from me. I'm a major part of my prep is aligning my character's world with my own private world and seeing how that fits and how I can like draw those connections. But I'm trying to find that character within me, and I guess you turn certain things down and you turn other things up, and you kind of lean into certain experiences in your own life that help with what the character's going through. But it's not this other entity. It is all me. I do think that that's how the most effective way to portray a character is, and the most vulnerable and with the most heart and compassion.
If you are not to award me love, then I will indulge in rage.